This week's jam session was crazy fun. We had one of Toronto's most talented artists, Ray Robinson, in the house. He came down to chill out and have a good time at the jam session, where the artists get to freestyle over the DJs, and Ray Robinson definitely held the mic down, that's for sure. And you can bet your bottom dollar that we sat down with Ray Robinson for a little interview. Dennis the Menace. Let's see what Ray's gotta say.
Another edition of Jam Session. We're at a new location. Jam Session goes from location to location. It's not situated in one place. And behind me, we have DJ 45 Smalls. Every 10 minutes, a new DJ comes on, spins, and then you're off, your time. The rule is you don't play the same song. Another week, another interview, Ray Robinson. Has his own show, has been singing forever pretty much. We're going to get right into it. My first question to you is, when did you know you had a voice? Were you in the shower? Did you drop something and say, ah? What was it that you knew that you had a voice?
I knew I had a voice at about 5. But I kept it to myself. I was too shy to expose it to the world, expose it to anybody for that matter. I don't remember how I realized it, but I knew it at about 5 years old.
And so when was the first time you performed, or when was the first time somebody noticed that you had a voice and you were able to exhibit it and share it with the world?
I would say elementary school. No. It was church. My mother would make me, my brother, and sister go on the stage at church and sing with her while she's playing the piano. It was the most embarrassing thing ever, but that's the first time I ever did anything.
And so you started, I would say, your musical career within the church.
Yeah.
From my understanding, there's a lot of singers in the church. A lot of singers. Now, do you think there's a reason for that? Do you think it's just because the way of nature, or laws of the nature, or do you think something intrinsically about church elevates your voice? You find a lot of singers in church. Can you probably shed some light on that?
What I think it is the fact that there's a lot of music in church. So when you're surrounded by something, no matter what it is, I feel like if you're surrounded by it constantly, and almost not forced, but they sing a lot of hymns, so and they do them in parts. So people just get accustomed to knowing these parts, and then eventually it becomes a part of who they are.
Now, so you're singing now, you're on church stands, you're doing your thing now. When were you in your first group? When did you say, I am a singer, this is what I'm going to do? Something I ask all the artists is, when was that Arika moment when you knew this is it?
As far as pursuing it as a career, I knew it in high school. And it was honestly because the women reacted to it in a certain way. Because before then, I thought like people would look at me funny because I'm a guy and I'm singing, and hip hop was just starting to come out around that time. But when a woman is showing you love based on your voice, at that time, it's like, yo, I got nothing to lose and a lot to gain.
So that's what elevated it. So now we're going to speed ahead initially. So now we're going to speed it ahead where, you're doing your albums, you're out there singing, you're out on the road or whatnot. How do you maintain that voice level? Do you practice singing? Is there, what events do you do? What things do you do to keep that voice, exercise-wise?
I don't really do that many exercises, to be honest. I probably should. But I sing a lot, and I listen back to myself to make sure that I'm doing certain things the proper way. Like, that's the way I do my voice training is I'll record something and listen back to the intricate parts of what I did to make sure that I'm doing it the right way. And if there's something that needs to be corrected, I correct it.
Okay. So it's difficult for R&B artists to make it successfully in Toronto, much as Canada. A lot of people go overseas and so forth, or to the States. What do you think should change or has to change to have singers and R&B singers be exposed and live at a livelihood in Canada? We're in Toronto.
There's two things. I think the first, I don't know which one would come first, but the media needs to start supporting more. So we have iLive, we support local talent, but the other stations aside from G or what Flow used to be need to not just have CanCon, but they have to say, you know, we're gonna throw into the regular mix of the day, a Shy Wisdom, a Kim Davis, any of these new artists. Like, we have to be in the mix on the regular, so when the audience is listening, they get familiar with our music too, and then that will lead to the not the audience that's listening, but the people that know about these artists. They need to support. They got to buy the album. They got to come to the concerts. They got to do all these things in order to help us artists grow.
Is it too late to be a singer? I'm 43. Is it too late for me to be a singer? Or can anybody sing with a good voice? Is there a lot of complications to being successful in Toronto, Canada, globally at 43? Talk to me now. Be real.
You know what? I don't know what your talent level is, but it's never too late. I want to be an example myself of somebody who is a little bit older in age now, but who can find new success at this age with any demographic.
Okay, so you have artists. You know, you're doing that thing now. You have artists coming in singing for you now. Is there a change from when you were singing till now? So in hip hop, you had hip hop. Now you have mumble rap. You know what I'm saying? The transition of the purity of the culture of hip hop has changed dramatically, right? Is that the same sequence of events when it comes to R&B singing in Toronto?
100% yes. You have a lot of singers now that are more like a Drake. So they're not necessarily singers, but they know how to make good songs. And you know, I think the singing aspect of it isn't there as much as it used to be. But there are artists that are still doing it.
What would you change business-wise if you can go back in time and speak to young Ray Robinson?
I would have listened to myself, and I would have initiated my first album in the U.S. as opposed to initiating it here. Because there were artists that did that after I released, and they found great success doing it that way. But my crew at the time was saying, no, we got to break it here first. And I was like, why?
Let me get back to your album. You're singing, you got your own album. Somebody comes on your album as a guest singer or a rapper or a musician or whatever, and it's not good. How do you tell them to up the level, or how do you say to them professionally, nicely, you know what, maybe you should go back and write this, or you need some more studio time?
You know what? Things work really fast, so time is money. If something's not working out, I may just not use that track or get another artist to do it.
And where do you get your beats from? It's easy to have a beat machine at home, but it's different when it comes to R&B music. It's a little more instruments in it, there's more technique involved, I would say. Where do you get your beats from? You're producing, whatnot? How, do you have a hand in it?
I produce it.
Oh, wicked.
So, you know, I if I need musicians, I'll call them up to make those little intricate parts that are necessary. But the beat, pretty much the whole song, I produce it.
And so what advice do you have to young and up-and-coming singers in this day and age, how to be successful? What are some tips that you can give them to pursue this passion?
Be persistent, be creative, don't follow any trend, set the trend. Because everybody is looking for that new. So if you come with something that no one's ever heard before, you could be that much more successful than the person who's just recycling the hit that came out 3 weeks ago.
All right, so can you give us a couple notes? I don't care if it's like the Sound of Music, though. I don't care what it is. Can you just give us a couple notes so the people know what we're talking about?
All right, let me try it over this music. Oh, this music's changing on me.
No, it's all right. Take your time. I'll put you on the spot.
Oh, I love the way you feel, baby. You made me so happy. I wanna make you feel the same. Oh, no. I'm gonna just hold it off on that though. You know.
Wow, I ain't even playing. That's big. Another session of jam session. You have anybody you want to shout out to? Some special people that help you bring you to this point in time? Your album, whatever. It's a special people. Not the 100. There's a few special people that brought you to this point.
I want to shout out my mother. I want to shout out my father. I want to shout out my kids. I want to shout out my brother and sister for giving me that competitive nature. And I want to shout out a special friend right now, Cameron Frey, who is not doing that well, but he is one of the people that that kind of showed me different things as I was coming up, and there's a whole lot of other people I'd love to shout out, but I'd be here all night.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's why I said not 100, just a couple. There you have it, another session, a jam session, kicking it with Ray Robinson, and we're out. Peace.